Welcome to Tropes and Tantrums. I'm Amber.
And I'm Danielle. We are just two moms, never without our kids or our Kindles.
Welcome back, book besties. How is everyone?
Great, solid, all the things. You guys can't answer, but I'm answering for you.
You can answer. We just want to hear you.
Or you can leave it as a comment.
Yes, please leave it as a comment. Let us know how you're doing.
Yes.
So this episode we are going to talk about Swift and Saddled by Lyla Sage. This was our April buddy read.
We're like,
and it's June. That's okay. So we got to talk about this book. This book was so good. I rated it 4 stars.
I rated it 5 million stars. It was so good.
Wes is great.
I know.
Luke was better.
I disagree.
But that's okay.
We can disagree. We can both have separate book boyfriends in Rebel Blue. That's totally fine.
I did like Ada better.
Well, I love Ada. I think Ada's wonderful. I think Ada, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I felt like I connected with Ada on a deeper level, like as a person.
You didn't say that.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why I just felt very seen in Ada, which I loved because just a lot of things. And but Wes and Ada as a couple, I obsessed with. Obviously, we're also obsessed with Luke and Emmy as a couple. Was incredible. Just so we're clear.
I prefer Luke and Emmy.
I know. I know you do. Wes and Ada.
Too. I thought the tension between them was way better. So who knows what's gonna happen
Teddy and Gus is really. I do think that this was more of a slow burn. Yes. Would you say? Yeah. I thought the tension was good though. I still think she writes tension really well.
Okay, so you just said that you resonated with Ada.
Yeah.
More. I was looking for a specific part because I want to talk about it because it's something that happened with Alex at home when I was reading this book, and I want to talk about it because it's hysterical. It was probably more funny when I originally.
You're like, I'm gonna tell everyone.
But I'm gonna tell it anyway. But I wrote on page 5. I have a tab that says Danielle coded, and the line is, "That was me, Ada Hart. Nothing if not prepared."
You know what? She's right. She is.
Oh, jeez.
It is. It's true. That's so me.
And then when she said she ordered a Diet Coke, I said barf.
Gross.
I literally wrote a note that said barf, ick. But just this. You're gonna die. Did I tell you this?
No, we haven't talked about this book at all. Also, pause. If you have not read, not read,
do not listen to this episode.
Please stop and then come back. And we're not taking no for an answer of you saying that you won't read the book.
And also, if you haven't read
Done and Dusted,
read it. Listen to the episode.
Then back.
Read this.
You have a lot of homework to do. Okay.
Because you do not want to miss out on this cowboy romance.
I have recommended these books to so many people. I know you have as well. I have not met a single person who is not obsessed. Correct. And we're getting a fucking TV show, which is bar none. I don't care if it's 5 years in the future. It's gonna be the best. No, we will be watching, and it'll be the best time. We'll be recapping, and maybe by then we'll have Lyla on our podcast. Can we can we put that out there? If you're listening, maybe one day we would love to have you. Tomorrow even, we would literally any day. Just let us know. But no, it's get off this episode and go and read these freaking books. Cause you need to immerse yourself in Rebel Blue yesterday because it's so freaking good. Bar none, I will make the statement, best cowboy romances out there for me personally. I haven't read a better cowboy romance personally.
I think I can stand behind that.
Yeah.
Well, cause I'm also reading, I have 2 more books. No, 1 more book. I think I have one more book in the Chestnut series.
Yeah.
Spring series.
I'm not saying there's not good cowboy romance out there. It's not what I'm saying, but
I think, Lyla just does a really good job in her world building, character development.
Oh my God, 100%.
I
want to live there.
Meadowlark in my brain.
Yeah. Like I
want to go to Rebel Blue and do a cowboy retreat. Like I would do that.
She should absolutely do that because people would pay money for it, and I would be one of them.
I would. Like I see this in my brain
clear as day. The world building's incredible. The characters are incredible. The dynamic of the relationships between the characters, not just the romantic ones.
The dad,
the family dynamics, the friendship dynamics, amazing. Hands down. Okay,
Small town vibe.
Please go read it.
Just do it.
Yesterday. Should we do tropes of this?
Tropes are
That's you.
Small town, cowboy, city girl. Oh, my mic is back here. I don't know if you can hear me. It's small town, forced proximity, workplace, mental health rep, dual POV, cowboy, city girl. I feel like that's covers it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was going to say, the sentence is, when I made an impulsive decision, I usually ended up paying for it for a while to come. My failed marriage being the prime example of this So I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I don't really care. Anyway, it's on page 16 in the book. So I'm sitting here reading this on the couch next to my husband, and I'm like, what does that even mean? So he looks it up. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, this is when I wish I was on my Kindle so I could tap and have it look it up for me. And so he picks up his phone, he looks it up for me, and he goes, what book are you reading? And I go, Swift and Saddled. And he goes, that's the first thing that popped up when I put in this word. And I go, holy crap, her name is Ada. She was making a funny joke. She was adding her name to, the word. And I was like, I'm such an idiot. We were dying. And I'm telling you, in the moment, it was so funny.
That's so good.
Now it's just you're an idiot.
I mean, I love it. I'm here for it. I think it's so good.
But, yeah, no, okay, so Wes is the baby of the fam.
No, he's middle.
Sorry, he's the middle. Emmy's the baby. He's the middle, and he just is trying to, find his place on Rebel Blue. What...
And you saw this. You saw the setup at the end of Done and Dusted because it was he was going to take over the
renovation of the big house.
Yes,
the house that his dad grew up in.
That he wanted to make into a bed and breakfast situation,
which I think is a phenomenal.
So idea. Great. And then
revenue coming into the ranch.
Correct. And then they obviously hired Ada to come and.
Per Teddy's request.
To come and, what's it called? Because Teddy and her had gone to college together.
And she was an interior designer looking for, a new project.
Yes.
So she came in, and their tension in the bar of Devil's Boot, I need to go to this place. I want to feel the sticky floors. I want to feel...
I love...
a shot with Luke Brooks. I'm sorry, I do.
I love specifically meetings like this, when the books start out with these really intense meetings together.
He had her pushed up against the
amazing
wall.
Incredible. And then you
leg hiked,
insane. I loved it. That was it for me. I was done. This book is everything. And one of the layers
we were doing at 23.
That's a conversation for another day. I think that it's one of those things that we talked about, if you haven't listened to, I believe the March wrap up, we talk about our trip to Tucson to the book event with Lyla Sage to talk about where she does a little meet and greet and talks about the book. And the series. Amazing, great time, 10 out of 10 experience. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. But one of the things...
It was a fun mini road trip.
It was. And one of the things I think that really solidified this book for me as a 5-star read, even before like having read it, was getting to hear her talk about the process of like these characters and the development of, because she's very methodical in the way that she's created this world. And I think, and obviously have not gone to, we talked about this, I've not gone to other author events, so I don't know if this is common, not common, but then reading it afterwards, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much more connected.
I agree. And I heard her voice more. Like,
correct.
You hear her voice for the first, I mean, you can listen to somebody on TikTok and Instagram Reels and like things like that. But like to really see her light up.
Oh, absolutely.
And like she was glowing in the way she was talking about her process, the writing, how much she loves what she does.
Yes.
And she's so thankful and grateful and all of those things. But reading this versus Done and Dusted, you hear her voice differently.
100%.
Like you have like the voice that you think that the characters sound like, right?
Yes.
But the voice of like the
author like coming through
so
100%,
and it was beautiful.
And here's the thing, like we can't replicate that for you. Like we can't be like, oh my God, like we like, it's like almost like wish you were here, but like,
wish you were here, but you're not.
And that I think is one of those things that's, even if you could go and listen to like an interview, like where she like talks about it, you may still get those glimpses the way that she talks about it, because it was honestly such a cool experience. And we actually talked about that like on the drive home, and we've talked about it since, but like, I just felt, we tell people because we're psycho. And I'm very curious to see how that pulls through with the next books. If I still feel the same. I mean, I do hope she does another event, because I would totally go, because I've been looking. No, but like, I don't think we're gonna get him.
If she comes back here,
I think she will come back here.
Yeah, because
her friend lives here, and but like, it was incredible. I mean, the book itself is such a testament to healing, like to healing journeys.
That, and like, I, as someone who struggles with anxiety and depression and things like that, like, I always find it very refreshing, and I don't know another word to describe it, but like, it makes me feel good when you read about characters who also kind of like deal with the same.
It makes you feel seen and understood.
Yeah, and it's like, this is exactly how I would describe it to somebody, how I was feeling.
100%. And I think that she did an incredible job.
And I read a book that I'll talk about in our May wrap up that kind of did the same thing and like brought me to tears.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this book brought me to tears multiple times, because it's just like you felt like really like seen and heard in just the way that she crafted the experiences.
Yes.
I've only ever had that in one other instance, as far as like a really amazing anxiety rep. Not that I haven't read books with great anxiety reps, but also is Abby Jimenez, yours truly. The MMC in that book also has an incredible anxiety rep. Love. And I think that when it's done right, like you said, it really... the connection feels so much deeper with the characters, and and
those are the books that resonate with you.
100%. And I think it's funny because people, I think it's a little insane when you tell them how much you read, because when you tell people like you're a reader, like I think they think like one book a month. Like I don't know what people think. Like they mean, because I don't think that. No, I know 100%. I don't read to like. I read to escape 100%. Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't? But like, and I actually had this conversation, and I wish I could find the words that I used. I actually might try and find them, because they were actually, I don't know like what kind of like really great high I was on. that I wrote this whole thing about why I read.
It's become a hobby for me.
No, it's definitely a hobby.
But there's something different when you find yourself within the pages of a book that you're just like, it just hits different. Like, it's an unmatched feeling.
No, it's 100%. I like during this episode, as we're doing this, I'm going to find the thing because I really do want it to, because it was honestly, I just really need to repeat it out loud because it was so good, because it's books like these that even though like you could say, because she talked about like how people are like, oh, like you write like silly little romances, like, and it's not.
That's not what I do.
This isn't a silly little romance. It's really not. It's deeper than that.
Way deeper than that.
It's so much deeper than that. Yeah, I really want it because I said it really well and I'm never going to be able to say it again in my life the way I said this thing. But going back to the book, did you feel like you got to know like the friendships deeper in this book?
Yeah.
Because I really liked that.
I loved the girls like rallying around Ada. I love that we got more of Gus's daughter's mom. I know that's like more of like an Easter egg setup for another book. But like I'm glad that we got more of her, and like you can tell that like she's going through something, and you know what I mean?
I love that they have like, I know we're going to, once that book comes out, we'll get more like into that. But like, I love that her.
I think we're going to get some of it in.
No, Gus's book for sure. I love that they have like this healthy, like co-parenting, like relationship.
I think that's a great representation. I think
it's cool because it's not like they were married. They
just slept together
and had a baby. And now they're
doing this.
Yeah. No. Oh, I found it, by the way.
Okay.
It took a lot. It took a lot. So I said that fiction books for me became a way for me to like turn my brain off for a little, because my brain goes constantly and I need a way to like shut it off.
Yes.
But it also was a way to make myself feel less alone in certain thoughts and feelings, because I've spent so many years struggling to articulate things without finding the words or safe space. It gives me a space to connect with people without having to always be social and open up, because it's harder for me to do that. So it's less unrealistic expectations about life, but feeling like I'm heard and understood. I know it doesn't always seem like to people like they can't understand why, because it's not necessarily like fully coping or addressing certain issues or problems I have, or like certain things. Yeah. But for me, it brings me comfort that I don't always get from real people who don't fully understand or get me in the way that some of these characters do. And I think that that's one of the things.
I love that.
Isn't it amazing?
That's like really beautiful.
No, I'm telling you, I was like, I have to find this because it was so good.
I think that you said that beautifully. Like, everyone has their vices. Everyone has their way of like checking out, whether it's watching endless amounts of TV.
And I think that they can ebb and flow, like what feels good for you in that time of your life.
Correct. But if this is a healthy hobby.
I mean, 100%. It's expensive. Fuck yeah.
It's expensive.
Fuck yeah.
It can be expensive, but no one says you have to read the amount of books that we read in
I mean, therapy's expensive too. Books might be cheaper.
Who knows? Depending on how many books you're buying and how you read.
Yep.
But I also, you talked about like the friendship building and things like that, and more of that than we did in Done and Dusted.
Yes.
Which I loved, but I also love, like, I don't know if women empowerment is the word to use right now, or like, I think it's really beautiful when women in, like, the female main characters in books talk about sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, have those open conversations, whether it's with one another, with their partner. I always find that to be very empowering.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing, like, that always sticks out to me in books.
Yep.
And that I will tell people about in books. Like,
because we've talked about it.
Yes.
And I can't think of what the book is that you told me, that we very much had the discussion about it.
Yeah. And, like, even, like, Ada, she, like, voiced to Wes at one point, like, look, like, I have a hard time with producing lubricant.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that's fine. Like, we'll work on it. Like, you tell me what you need, I will provide, kind of situation. Yeah. And it turned out that she had no problem. It was just the person that she was with. And
yeah.
Usually that is the problem, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's happening in real, like, in your life. Like, maybe it's your partner.
Not like it's not, we're not, like, diagnosing. We're not, like, we're not
diagnosing
you.
Anybody. I'm just saying, but I always find it to be very empowering when women take back their sexuality, and it's for them, it belongs to you.
I think it's also just the fact of, like, books provide this safe space of these conversations that maybe people aren't having in real life.
Yes.
And that they can't have in real life because they, like, don't know how. And they, like, see themselves in these characters and they're like, wow, if I could just say it like this, that makes complete sense. Yes. And I think that that's one of the things that she does so well in this book, is just these harder conversations.
Well, even Wes opening up about his depression.
Absolutely. Because it's, like, very, like
I have to stick to my routine.
Because of this. Because of this.
Follow you wherever you need to be,
but
for your
job,
your career.
Yeah.
But I have to have this routine or I fall.
Mm-hmm.
And falling for someone with depression is
scary. A lot. Yeah.
It's very scary.
And it's not easily understood.
No, it's not.
Because there's so many degrees of it. There's so many different, like, ramifications of these things that if you're not living in it, you don't fully grasp or understand. Yes. Or see the outcome of it.
Correct. I even, like, one thing I do when I feel like I'm slipping, I let myself slip for a day. I let all the things besides my kids, like, go, right? Like, mm-hmm. Of course I make sure my kids are taken care of, and that's always my priority.
Always.
But I let myself sit for that slip for a day. And then tomorrow I put my big girl panties on and I handle my shit. Like, mm-hmm. I take care of my space to make it so I'm not in a slipping mood or things like that. Then I, like, become a productive human again. But I always give myself that day. But he's not wrong in the sense of routine is important.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go for my runs. I need to go ride my horse. I need to work on this, work on that, be at the ranch, help with mm-hmm. this, help with that. Like, I related to that.
100%. And I think, having gone through, some of the shit that I've gone through in the last, I think it's also why this resonated with me really heavily. During this season, I read the book in.
Yeah.
With a lot of unknowns,
You've been going through that?
I think it made me feel like, okay,
there is a brighter side.
There's always, you're gonna come out on the other side. Just because you don't know when or where or how or who's going to be there by your side, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen for you.
I keep telling you, you're in this metamorphosis.
I know.
And I'll tell you, the listeners, like, I keep telling Danielle, she's in this metamorphosis, like, space right now, phase of her life, and the light at the end of the tunnel is coming. It's just when we get there. So I had being adding a different layer to it.
About a week ago. So we're in June. Obviously, I've been going through the health issues I've been going through since the first week of March. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Unresolved still. Like we're still like in it. It's better, but we're still in it. And I am not one to fully let myself feel things because it's hard for me, because then I feel like I'm losing control. And so again, resonating very heavily with Ada in terms of, we like control. We like being prepared. We don't like going off the beaten path. We don't like when things don't go the way that we intend them to go. Her marriage, she obviously did not intend to no longer be married. She did not intend to be at a ranch in Wyoming. No. Like there's so many things that go off the beaten path for her, and she doesn't like it, and she doesn't know how to cope, and she doesn't know how to function. And it creates this whole different life. She's now trying to, lean on these female friendships and, finding like what her relationship looks like with Wes and all of these different intricacies. And about a week ago, like I said, I'm not really good at like voicing my like feelings. It's just like not my vibe, not good at it. A lot of which is because I cannot articulate feelings out loud appropriately. Like I just can't, like, I don't know like what, like I just am not good at communicating. I suck. It's totally fine. We live, we love, we laugh, whatever. And we figure the fuck out. But, I had a little bit of a breakdown in which I have not let myself break down many times over the last few months. But I basically, with what's gone on with me health-wise, has highly affected my confidence as like a human, just like in my capabilities physically, emotionally, mentally, has really brought me down because I've not been able to work like I used to. I've not been able to do all the things. And of course, like also moving a house with two toddlers, being a toddler mom, like being the dance mom, like doing all the things. And I had a breakdown because physically I have been so down. And there's ramifications to that. I'm not going to go into all the details, but there's ramifications. And I broke down to Vance, and it was like probably, I don't know, it was like 11 p.m. at night. It was pretty late. And the girls,
those are the best ones.
And we had kind of gotten into a fight, and I normally shut down, and I do not. I'm like, all right, cool. I just don't want to talk about it. I want to walk out. I want to leave the situations. But I said, so I was, again, full transparency, was laying in bed crying. And normally in those situations, like I said, that would be it. Tomorrow's a new day. We move on, whatever. Yeah. And I got out of bed, and he was in the kitchen, and I had got out of bed, and I was like, no. And I was like, I'm actually not going to be okay with this. Like, the situation that had occurred. And I said, I didn't choose this for myself. Like, I didn't choose to feel this way. I didn't choose to be going through the things I'm going through that are now causing the issues that are occurring. Yeah. And normally I'd be like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to bed. But I was like, no, I'm not going to take that. Like, I'm not going to take that because I didn't choose this life. Like, I didn't choose to have these things going through. I didn't choose to become the shell of the person that I was. And like you said, the metamorphosis is like, I know I'm coming out of this the other side as a completely different person. And I think for me, it was like just that little bit of like me taking back my power, just a little bit from what I feel has been taken from me in the last few months. Dealing with, like, I have not dealt with the things that I've dealt with, and I've dealt with like bouts of like depression and things like that. Yeah. But I think when you have become the person you become, and you're so used to that person, and then all of these things happen to you that are outside of your realm and your scope of control, reading about this was so healing for me, because I was able to see myself in both of the characters in terms of like, this is like real. Like, you cannot control the things that happen to you. Some things just happen and you have to roll with it. And like you said, figure it out on the other side of it. And I think that it connected with me deeper. And I think that in the space that I'm in really mattered to where it came, like this came through so strongly versus like, and I think one of the beautiful things about books in general is they kind of meet you where you're at, because you could read a book 5 years from now and the things that stand out to you are so different than what they do today because of the circumstances with your life. And so I'm just so grateful this book found me at this time where I was like, I could like see myself in her and I could be like, I'm just at the mercy of figuring the fuck out.
But not even that, like, you in that moment found your voice with Vance, right? Like, you were like, no, I'm not gonna like just brush this under the rug and like pretend it never happened. Like, no, we're gonna talk about this. I want you to know like my true, like what I'm actually feeling, and we're gonna work through it. Like, obviously, but like Ada kind of did the same thing where she like was this shell of a human because her ex-husband was so cruel and had so much control over her that she like basically told Wes like, I have to go do these jobs. I can't be stuck. You can't like you said you were gonna fix my car and you're like, you haven't. You told me that you teach me how to drive stick, which he did.
Yes.
He did, and she was put into situations where she actually had to use it, right?
Yeah.
But, like, she threw herself in that truck and left.
And I think...
And then turned around and came back and was like, no, this is where I'm meant to be. But, like, I have to share and voice what I'm thinking.
I have to do things on my own terms because she's never...
because that her ex-husband had so much control that she didn't know that any better.
And I think that the things that it doesn't necessarily always need to be like a person that has control over you. And I think that, and exactly. And it can be like, just like a circumstance and like the things. And I think that when you see that, it's so beautiful. Like to see her growth through the book was, I mean, both of their growth through the book.
Yeah. So this even, like I tabbed this, it's something Wes said. And I think this, you probably like tabbed it or like was like, in your book. But I feel stupid saying it now, but I honestly didn't expect feeling better to be so ... hard. And right now I'm okay. Right now, what I'm doing works, but I expect that there will come a day when I feel the ache in my bones, like kind of my dad, like the kind my dad feels before a storm, and what I'm doing won't work, and I'll have to start over, and that terrifies me. Yeah. Like, that alone is so relatable. Change is hard. Change is scary, but, like, when you are dealing with something so much deeper, like depression, anxiety, and things like that, like, it weighs on you. Yeah. It's heavy. And but I bet after you had that conversation with him, with Vance, like after, you kind of were like, no, you need to hear me now. Like, you walked away from that feeling so much lighter and more connected. I did. And because I know that's how I feel with Alex when I like really voice like my deep down thoughts, fears, things like that. And I think that, like you said, when you just said it in that quote, it doesn't take the feeling away. Despite right in that moment, you feel better. But you have like, someone who can carry the load. Yeah. And then you know that like, okay, in a week, this is going to come. It's going to come back again differently. Yeah. And you're like, okay, did it once. We're just going to pivot, but it's scary. Like, because once you do it once, you know that it exists, and it's like one of those things. You're like acknowledging it. And she just, especially with Ada as like a person,
like I said, deeply connected with her because I was looking at the quotes that I had saved of hers. And I had this, I don't know what
page. I didn't have a lot of quotes from Ada. I had more from Wes, but like she had some good profound things.
Like she said, this was 33% in, so I don't know what page it is, but it says, my whole life I've been described as icy, bitchy, and rude, and I know I'm not super warm or overly kind, but the truth is I'm just shy, and I don't think I'm a people person, certainly not the way this entire family seems to be. They make being nice look so damn easy, whereas I don't seem to know how to talk to people in a way that makes them like me or keep coming back for more. I seem to always turn out to be a disappointment, so why would I even bother? And I think that you even saw her in that regard of like, she craved being loved and valued by people and hadn't received that. And so she didn't know how to put that out. And I think it's one of the perceptions that people get from me most of the time when they meet me, which is
so funny because I just like looked at my Ada quotes.
Yeah.
Did not highlight that one because it didn't sit with me.
Yeah.
So
and
that's like, I love that it sat with
you
because that is some, like, just from conversations that we had separate, like, outside of this.
Yeah.
And, like, that is how you feel.
Oh, all the time. And I think it's funny because
people expect you to be the villain when you're actually the hero.
Don't make me cry. Don't do that to me.
Sure, you make me cry all the time.
All the time. I do.
If I get to
I know.
Once here, I'll be happy.
I think it's one of those things that like you feel like misunderstood by people.
Yeah.
Like I feel vastly misunderstood by people because I don't love people. I just like I don't love like being around most people.
You like it when we're watering each other's grasses.
100%. And I think that it's hard.
You sometimes have relationships where it's so one-sided and you're doing all the work for a friendship. And that's not how friendship works. Oh, wow. I'm really going to get her to cry today.
Oh my God. That was a lot.
I'm going to cry now. Freaking A, dude.
I feel like I've gone like my whole life that way where I've put in so much for certain people and I try to like obviously.
Well, you're a good person.
I feel like I put in a lot for people and it's not always reciprocated, and it's been a journey, especially since really I give like being pregnant with Eloise was probably bar none the hardest time of my life. And I remember when I was pregnant, because it was just a lot. I was pregnant in 2020. We had found out we were pregnant in February. Obviously, everything shut down in March. And I felt very alone, obviously. I felt very, like, even though I was, like, around my family a lot, my relationships with people changed dramatically because of a lot of reasons. But I would sit with Eloise, like, because Eloise is obviously my stomach, and I would think about, like, I'm going through such a hard time, like, being pregnant with you. Like, you are putting me through the fucking ringer, child. I love you. You put me through the ringer every day today. But, like, I was like, I know I'm, like, this is, like, going to get me somewhere. And everything changed because I would remember just giving for so many people and that not being reciprocated, especially when I was pregnant. And I just started to slowly see people, like, fall to the wayside. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I gave to so many people during the hard times in their life, and I was not received. And my entire landscape of the relationships I had in my life all changed. Like, friends, family, like, all of the relationships morphed into something that I never expected. And it brought me from the point when I was pregnant with Eloise to now has brought me some of the most incredible relationships, obviously, one of them being you, obviously. And, like, I think about having gone through that where I was like, God, this sucks. And I'm so alone and I'm so sad. And and then, like, we were obviously told some really scary things could potentially be wrong with Eloise, that ended up not being true whatsoever. But there were so many things I was going through mentally that I was like, I just wanted people like to rally for me, and they didn't. And I was just like, I don't understand how, like, cause I've rallied for you and I've done so many things for you. And, it just that wasn't reciprocated. And I think it changed my whole mindset, of a person I was like, I see relationships so much differently today because of it. And I think that the people I've chosen to keep in my life, or who are now in my life, the foundation of our friendships are so different, where, like you said, it's a mutual, like a give and take of like your soul for people. And it's so different. And the people now in my life, it's funny, who maybe weren't in my life pre that version of Danielle that you don't know, and that so many people don't know because they only know like this version of me.
Yeah.
And like value me so differently that I've never had prior. And I think it's so different just in the sense of like, obviously I still come across the same way. I still come across as people immediately don't like me. They like, there's something like off. And it more comes to that I've just come into this place of like, I'm not open to like, not that I'm not open to people.
If you want to get to know me on a deeper level, then you need to show the effort so I can put in the effort.
100%, because I don't even know, because I just don't trust people to want what I consider a friendship, like you said, a mutual thing where I feel like it's not that way. And even one of the moms on the dance team didn't really have a relationship with her, didn't really talk to her. Her and I had, I'm going to keep this together. One of the last competitions we had, both of our girls were performing solos, and it was just our two girls there. And so we chatted a lot because we had hours. It was just us two. And like I said, we are completely different humans. She's like, I want to say like over 10 years older than me, like significantly older than me. She has an only child. Obviously I have two girls, just completely different backgrounds. But from the conversations we had, I realized we very much are the same in the vein of, we are very much advocates for our children. Yeah. And that is one of the, like, if you know me, like the girls are everything, and I will like die on that hill. And I know most moms do, but like, it's very different because there's different dynamics of like the way that people ride for their kids. And like, I think of the TikTok, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where they ask moms, would you die for your kids? Or would you kill for your kids? That's the phrase they ask. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yes, I have.
And it enrages the fuck out of me and I know the outcome every fucking time. And I still watch it and I still get enraged where they say, would you kill for your kids? And they say no. And I'm like, done. Like, say less. I would kill for someone else's kids. And it's so different. So then when I had the conversations with her and we were chatting about a lot of things, a myriad of topics as far as being moms and this.
What an SAT word that was.
What, myriad?
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Helping you pass your SATs one podcast at a time. All of us are not in the SAT realm who are listening, so it's fine.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. But I said, so her and I connected on a much deeper level. And I was like, and she had a very different perception of who I was. And I totally know that. Like, you just know. Like, when you're the person that you are, you know the way that people perceive you. It's very blatant, and people can try to say that they know. I fully understand who you think I am and all the things.
We're good.
And so it was very different because like you could see like her opening up to me, realizing that I wasn't the person that she had made me out to be. Yeah. And that I wanted the same things for my daughter that she wanted for her daughter. And some shit happened recently, very, very, very recently. Yeah. Her and I talked on the phone for like a good 30 minutes. And like I said, just a month ago, we weren't even like never spoke more than like hi, like very casually. And because we're both feeling very much the same things about our kids. And it's very different when you finally like are seen by people and you're like, people see you as like the person that you actually are.
Like as an actual human. And then when I like think back to like Ada with the girls, and it's like, I'm not great with friendships just in general. Like just like, not that I'm like a boy's girl. It's not what I mean. I am very cautious. Yeah, I've been burned. When you've lost 2 maid of honors, like it shit like that like really fucks you, like because you're just like, I just like don't understand. But we talked on the phone and like we're vulnerable about like where we were at, and I just think, like you said, the watering of like the grass and seeing like it's just different when you find these people and you're just like, wow, like you can find people who do value you and do want what's best for you and do see you. Yeah. Even if maybe at first glance they don't or don't understand you. And I think so much of what like I said, what I saw in myself in Ada was so deep and resonated so heavily for me. And I know this is like a very long-winded conversation. So like if you're like listening, I hope that like if you are similar to me and have similar feelings, like I hope this makes you feel like you are not alone in the way that you feel. Cause I know that this is a very like, you very much feel like you're in solitude when you have these feelings, because not everybody, like I'm just not good at making friends. I'm not good at like all of these things. Yeah. And it's just a very different, but I am so deeply grateful for the way that Ada is so deeply grateful for these women who rallied for her and like who rode for her. And like, we're like, nope, we're coming over and like, we're doing this. Having pizza and drinking wine.
And you're not going to say no because we're like already here. Yeah. And I feel so grateful for the women that are in my life right now, who are so truly that, who ride for me. Like I cannot begin to explain, like you, and there's a few more who ride for me on a level that I cannot begin to express, that I've never felt in my life. And when I talked to Vance about, because I very much like need like outside people, like when I'm going through shit, and I like at this point, like I don't think I ever did up until the last few months, especially, where I'm like, this is what's going on. Because like there's certain people that know what's going on, certain people do not, and that was a choice. That was a choice.
You have the right to protect your peace.
And I had like, we talked about moving. These people were like, say when. You need me to help move boxes, pack boxes with you, sit with the kids, take the kid. Like, do you need me to drive you to appointments? Like, it's so different because all of you who are listening, and you know I don't ask. No. You know I'll never ask. And it's that you just do it, and you don't like you don't even ask. Like, it's not even like, it's like, it's just happening. Like, it's just going to be a thing. And I think that's so different is when you have people where you feel like you have to like, I'll never ask. Like I said, I'll never ask. And I was never given. Like, there's so many people in my life who have never like just done it. Yeah. They're just like, they're takers more than that. And like you said, the watering of the grass analogy is so good, because like I will offer and I will do things and I will put forth, and then it doesn't get reciprocated.
So your flower bed is dying.
And so then you don't even want, like, they're not the people like who I want to call when things are good. Yeah. Because they're not even there when things are bad. Yeah. And so like, why would I want them in my corner when things are good? And then
when they can't even rally for me when I'm at a low.
Yeah.
Or when things are a little bit harder.
And I think that the women in this book are such a testament to writing for someone that even they don't.
Them and Amos.
Absolutely. 100%. And it's like, those are the people who they were raised by. Yep. And you see it so deeply in the way that people were raised. And like, I see it like meeting your mom. Your mom is the way she is. And like, you see that in you and Kristen, like, just like so deeply caring of other people. And like, you know, that that's your mom to a T. Like, you just know, like, I've been around your mom maybe like 3 times ever. And like, I know that like deeply about her, and it resonates like so heavily in you and Kristen and in the way that you raise your children. And it's like one of those things that like you just see. One of my best friend's moms is also very much that way. And like, even not having met her in person, like, I know that that's the person that she's raised because of the way that she is. And obviously some people raise really shitty people. It doesn't mean that they're like shitty. That's not what I'm saying. But like, it's very much a testament to the way he has raised his children and to be these warm people. And you see that in the relationship he had with his wife. And then that you see his children striving for that relationship in their life, and the way that Wes loves Ada in that way and like comes alongside her.
Even when in the beginning she was like, listen, I didn't come here for some stupid cowboy take me away fantasy. I came here to do a job. Like, even from that moment outside of the bar scenario, he was like, she will be mine. And she like was like, no.
And he wants to love her, and he wants to give her
everything that she deserves in her marriage.
Yeah. And I think that even resonates to Emmy and Teddy wanting to give her these friendships and this support system that she doesn't have. And the giving of people's hearts runs so deep through these books. And it's one of those really beautiful themes that you see running through the books. And I think that that's what almost separates these books from other cowboy romances for me, is there's so many layers of love. And it's not just like,
it's friendship love,
it's familial love.
Like familial love.
It's a love of this space that they have at Rebel Blue, their home, the town. It's like taking care of each other.
Generations.
100%. Because even you think about like Teddy's dad was taken care of by Amos, like, and brought in like in his hard time. And like, there's just so many incredible layers that she's created, that the way that she's crafted this world, like you said, and the stories and the dynamics is just like, it's not that you don't find it in books, but I think it's
just different, because I think sometimes in other books outside of Lyla Sage, is sometimes you're searching for it.
Or you're trying to create it in your head.
Yes, but like the way Lyla does it, it's like
seamless.
So seamless. It's not like in your face noticeable. It's just,
it's woven.
It's organically like woven
through
in the book, in the characters. Like I literally can't wait. I don't want this series.
No, I just was thinking about that. I was just thinking,
I want to see what she does next.
But
outside of Rebel Blue.
Well, because I think about, like you said, I don't want the series to end, because I just got sad, because I'm like,
no, I immediately got
sad, so sad. It's like we still have 2 more books, and I'm sad about it. But it's like almost like it's woven, like she's planting these incredible seeds.
It's in my DNA at this point.
No, it really is, and it's like woven through from the first book to, and it's like so like,
you know what? I don't think you've read the series, and I'm not comparing the two at all. It's going to be the Eden series by Devney Perry. I find that one deep in my DNA as well, just because it's along the same concept, but like the like the family, the friendships, the love, the support, all of that, like the little town in Montana. Please read it.
I just put it on KU like 2 days ago and like
I have chills right now because that is
just
eerie.
Like 2 days ago. I know it's been like extremely hyped and I'm very excited to dive in because
it's one of Tin's favorite.
That's why, because he keeps telling me, like, she's like, I don't know how you haven't read it. She's like, I
have like 2 books left in the series.
No, I'm literally 2 days ago I downloaded it because I was
crazy.
No, I'm fully like, I'm already like fully mourning like that this is gonna be gone, and thankfully like we still have 2 more books, thank God. But like, no, the way that she's created, it's not
world.
And they're not standalones to me. They're not. It's not an interconnected standalone. It's a series.
It's a series.
Because the stories continue from beginning to end. You cannot.
Because Done and Dusted ended with, this is Dad. This is what Wes saying. Dad, this is what I want to do with.
This is the project I want to start.
Yes. What are your thoughts? They took a family vote, whatever. And Teddy was like, well, I have an interior designer. And here we are with Swift and Saddled.
I very much, I'm making a prediction, and I don't know if I'm going to be right, but I
love your prediction.
I know, I think the setup, okay, from Lost and Lassoed to the next book, which I don't think she's released the name of it yet, that I am aware.
The 4th book?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Because I think she said who the female character is, which is Cam.
And then the male character is...
And then she didn't release the male character. She's like, you'll find
No,
it.
we do know.
I know
you're saying... Okay. When we were there. Yes, but now we know. We know.
It out in Swift and Saddle.
I think...
Which, in fact, I'll have to find it again. But
I can't remember what his name is. But I think that the setup is going to be with Gus telling Cam, you deserve your like real love too, and you need to like.
I think that her engagement is falling apart.
I think the engagement falls apart, and then that's when Gus kind of has like a come to Jesus with her. After him and Teddy get together, because like obviously we know it's gonna happen. But I think he's gonna have a come to Jesus with her and be like, no, you deserve this also, and you need to. And what's his name? Did we find
Dusty? I found it.
Okay, I thought it was Dusty, but I was like, is that too like on the nose?
I have a thing.
Okay.
But I want to say this first. I unfortunately think that Lost and Lasso, is it Lost?
Lost and Lassoed. Yeah.
I think Lost and Lassoed is going to be a sad book. I think what brings Teddy and Gus together.
No, don't you say that. Don't you say it.
Okay, I won't say it, but I'm thinking it. I think that's what brings them together.
No, no. Mm-mm.
I think that book is going to wreck.
Do you think it's going to be his or hers?
I think we're talking about something completely different.
What are you talking about?
I think that what brings them together is her dad dying.
Okay, so I thought that too.
Oh, okay.
So I thought you were alluding to Amos dying.
No,
so I was like...
Amos is not dying. I think
Teddy's dad. No, I think so too.
I think that's what.
No, 100%. 100%. I believe that as well. Fully. I'm depressed about it already, and it might not even be the book. And
Lila's listening, screaming like, "You bitches ruined it!" Or she's going,
please
send me. I didn't even think about that.
Just send me an arc. Send me, please. Like, I know it's your publisher, but like, please approve the arc. Like, I would love. Like, I would
she
love.
Wants it desperately. I mean, I'll take it, but like,
dying for it. I check my NetGalley daily because I'm like, maybe
I don't have a NetGalley.
I don't know why you don't. You're like,
I think it's safer that I don't.
No, it probably is. I was just thinking about it. I was like, God, that.
But I also, because I love indie authors.
I know.
The way I get my arcs.
I know, it's so different. I know.
Very indie driven.
And you would know, you would, that would be like you and
if Lyla wanted to send me personally.
If you're listening to this, if you've made it to an hour into this episode and you still are here, I would die for an arc. I'm not shitting you.
It's not expected at all.
I know, but
will still purchase the book.
I'm going to still purchase the book and hopefully like have you sign it again so we can have another.
If you sent me the book, I would still be purchasing the book because I wanted to support you. No,
absolutely. Like you're probably not even listening to this point, but that's okay. No, and so like this is when we like go into our whole diatribe talking to the authors.
This is what I wrote. It was they showed up at Baby Blue. Mm-hmm. And they showed up at Baby Blue and they were like, the girls did, and they're having like, they're kikiing and they're having a good time, and Dusty shows up.
Yes.
Because Amos
sent him there. Amazing. We love it.
And he was
we love a wingman.
I have a note. I was like, Amos doing the Lord's work.
No, honestly.
But Dusty goes, I'm going. He said, but before he went out the door, he turned back to Cam and said, "You look good, Ash." And then he was gone. I looked at Cam. Ash? She swallowed and shrugged. Old nickname. My last name is Ashwood. And my note is Dusty and Cam sitting in the tree, ... Do I smell a second chance in the air?
I mean, that's definitely what we're getting, which I love a second chance.
I love a second chance when she makes him beg for it. I think she's gonna be absolutely him begging for it, honestly. And I think we'll get more background of like what happened in the past, because he said old nickname. They all grew up together. There was an illusion of them have dated.
Pause. I think I have a theory. Like,
I love your theories.
I know.
And I love to blow them up.
I know. I think this is what I think, and I don't know. And now I'm gonna question whether we like know or don't know. I think whatever happened between them two, Dusty and Cam, drove her to sleeping with Gus and then getting pregnant.
I think because she alludes to Dusty being like this wanderlust wanderer, like wherever there's a job, he's gonna go work it. Any ranch, whatever, he's gonna go do it. Yeah, which we love a hardworking blue collar man. Trust me, I married one. We love, but I think she wanted to settle down with him.
No, I do too.
And I think that he was like, I'm on to the next.
But I think that broke her.
And it broke her, and Gus was there to... I don't think it was intentional for them to, like, get together.
No, absolutely not.
I think it was just, like, a...
time and place situation.
And maybe a few whiskeys.
That's what I think. It was probably at the bar. It was probably at the Devil's Boot.
No, because he didn't... Oh, actually, Devil's Boot did exist before then.
Yeah.
So yes. It could have been, honestly. It's the only bar in town. But I do believe, like, that, like, she wanted him. He was on to the next because he was like, no, I don't want to be stuck in this town. But now everyone's back and settling down, and I think that he's going to get this different, like, you get the itch.
I'm excited for his backstory to see what...
I'm excited for their backstory because I want more history, and I think some of that will get in Lost in
like his family and like why he came back, the whole thing, because it's like what, his grandma or something, or his aunt or someone,
mom, aunt, somebody.
It's someone in his family. We just can't remember.
But there is a story there, and I'm very excited for it.
I'm so excited. I mean, I think we're obviously going to be waiting like a solid year, but like,
yeah, probably.
Or a little less.
So that quote that you read from Ada, is that your quote from the book? Or
no. My quote from the book.
Do you want me to read mine?
Yes, read yours.
Okay, mine is from Wes. I do have an Ada one that I was when I was playing with my book, because, you know, here we are. It's on page 247, and he says, "You're the moon, and I'm the tides. You pull me in without even trying, and I come to you willingly. I always will." And then my Ada one, that, like, is another really good one. It's towards the end. page 282. Her brown eyes were soft as she said, "You told me you would never stand in the way of following my dreams. You're my dream, Wes. You and Waylon and Loretta and Baby Blue."
I was surprised we didn't have the same quote, because we have the same quote.
Usually we do.
We do. Okay.
But I think that this book sat with us differently.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I love that the conversations that it brought, I think, are going to be significantly better than the conversations that we have on The Idea of You, coming soon.
I don't want to talk about it. I mean, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yes. And we also, remember, have to announce our next book. Okay.
Yes.
So my quote was, "I drew a line with him when I got here. I had a plan, I had dreams, and I didn't want to derail them for anyone. Wes respected that. He gave me my space. He didn't try to make a move until I stepped up to the line. And now that line was obliterated, the boundary was crossed and we couldn't take it back, and I didn't want to." It's amazing. We loved it.
Obsessed. What am I doing? I need to not do this right now.
I even had cute, like, sweet quotes from, like, Emmy, I realized.
I love Emmy.
No, she was so ride or die for Wes. And I loved every moment of it. Because even this quote was like, "Don't treat him like your final destination if he's just a pit stop. I don't think he'd recover from that. She didn't look back at me, so she couldn't see me when I nodded. I didn't think I'd recover from that either."
Yep.
It was so good.
I thought that. I think I tabbed that as like a note.
Yeah.
Without going back to look. But, yeah. No, that was... I think Luke softened her, and like their love softened her.
And they talk about that in the book, that about her softness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that is it on Swift and Saddled.
Which is a lot, but we appreciate it. It was
so
good.
Than most of our recaps, which I love, because this book brought, like we just said, different conversations, because we both got something different from this book.
Which I hope that, like I said,
and I hope you did too as a reader.
100%. And I think that it's like,
or you get a new POV.
That you could see something else that maybe you didn't catch, which we love. And obviously, if you get things, please send them to us. We love the conversations. We love chit-chatting.
Talk about it.
We love yapping. There's nothing we love more.
Literally. So the month of May, we didn't announce it.
It was gonna be more of like a thing, and
life happens.
It's gonna be a thing, but
it's The Idea of You.
I think we may have alluded to it on a podcast, like where we were just like talking about like spitballing the idea. So, but yes.
It didn't happen. We have something else planned for it.
Well, it did happen. I read the book.
She read the book.
Regrettably.
But we do want to announce our June book. So the June book is called Come Break My Heart Again by C.W. Farnsworth. I've already read this book. C.W. Farnsworth is redoing the book. She is going from a single POV book to a dual POV book, which I'm very excited about, is to get both of their perspectives on this story. What to expect is a Grumpy Sunshine, opposite sides of the track, second chance romance.
I have not read it, so you will get the perspective of me, who has not read the original version.
Yes.
So,
and I believe, because I've read quite a bit of C.W. Farnsworth, and I believe it's going to be like a normal POV book, not like Love Letter to Whiskey, where it was you got her whole entire POV.
Fuck that shit.
And then you got his
go back and listen to that episode.
Fast-paced.
Garbage, trash, bullshit.
Anyway, we're not going to get back into it. But, so, she traditionally does like a normal POV. But I am very excited. This is one of my favorite all-time reads. It is one of my favorite C.W. Farnsworth books. It was one of my top reads in 2022. So please read that with us. It comes out June 14th, I believe.
Perfect.
and
June's a hot month for new releases. I'm thrilled. I got so many good ones.
I have quite a few.
I'm so excited.
But we hope you read with us so you guys can join in on the conversation.
Going back to what we're doing with the May book.
With the May book. I DNF'd it. Danielle over here read it. I got only page 76. But what we're going to end up doing, we're going to chat about a little bit in an episode about our thoughts on the book without Danielle giving too much away, because what we're going to do is we are going to record ourselves while we watch.
No, I thought I was talking about the book after we watch. So then we don't, when we're watching it like fully like blind going in.
Oh, perfect.
Because then I'm not going to go and try and watch the movie again. Because like I don't have the wherewithal. 15 minutes. Well, I think I fell asleep around the same. I can't, perfect. I literally wanted to die. So can't wait for that.
We're going to watch the movie together.
The Idea of You, by the way, if we didn't say that.
Sorry. Yes, we're going to watch The Idea of You on Amazon, and record ourselves watching the movie together.
Yes.
And my sister probably will be in the episode as well. Since
I love her. Her takes are hot, so I appreciate.
She's not going to read the book, so that's interesting.
You guys think I like am spicy with my
my sister, just like me, has no filter.
No, and I love it. I love it.
So yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's just hang tight on that episode, because that's going to take some planning, but it is
coming because we like really want to do it. We came up with it last week.
I'm about to go on vacation.
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
So, and I'm about to not be on vacation.
No,
unless I'm living in the dance studio.
That's a vacation.
That's not a vacation. That is some sort of
torture drive.
Yep.
But thank you for joining us on our Swift and Saddled recap episode. We love you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, comment,
share with your friends.
Tell us your thoughts on this book. What you rated it. If you have any.
Unless you didn't like it, then we don't want to hear from.
Well, I do. I want to. A conversation. Like, what didn't you like?
You can talk to Amber. I do not. I will take no slander on that book.
I will answer all DMs about. But we love you guys. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in today to Tropes and Tantrums. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. And don't forget, happy reading.